Okay, so before we actually get started here, I just want to make a quick disclaimer saying I I am no historian by any means. I don't even know where to begin when it comes to legal rights, so take what I say with a grain of salt. So, what's been going on for the past several days? I can't believe it hasn't worn out by now. What's been going on for the past several days is that Collective Shout has been trying to censor games for the sake of protecting kids. And as you can tell by the multiple images on my screen, this completely backfired on them. So what they did was that they've essentially reached out to Visa and MasterCard to do the same thing. This also completely backfired on them. Of course, you already knew that, right? Like, gamers are fighting back against both Collective Shout as well as Visa and MasterCard. However, there are some interesting facts you may not know. Like, for example, there were several laws violated, to say the least. Well, several is kind of a stretch. I'd probably say a few. For example, both of these two companies violated the Sherman and Clayton Acts, which were essentially antitrust laws to help provide healthy competition between multiple companies worldwide. Whether or not, though, they apply to all companies is beyond me, though. Or not companies, multiple countries. Yeah, yeah, that's what I meant to say. Sorry, I tend to stutter a lot. This video is actually going to go unedited because I want to get this out as soon as possible. But yeah, basically Visa and MasterCard as well as Collective Shell basically went out of their way to violate these antitrust laws. Of course, the Sherman Act, by comparison, was made to prevent multiple monopolistic practice. I cannot fucking talk today. See, this is why I don't do shit like this. Basically, to prevent underhanded tactics through monopolies. Now, here's the thing. Whether it's not inherently illegal to own a monopoly, but it's only when you use underhanded tactics in order to do so, which is basically what Visa and MasterCard just straight up did. Now, sorry. Now, I don't know what to say about this. This basically goes against any legal action that any company would face, right? Like basically what happened is that Visa and MasterCard just straight up pressured Valve slash Steam or whatever you want to call them and itch.io into getting rid of any not safe for work content. But here's the thing. Those games were technically legal since, well, some of them were free after all, right? Like, it's not like some of them were making money. Others, though, were. But here's the thing. They were also considered legal. And yeah, need I explain more? Well, I guess I should. Like, blah, 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 Henry Clayton, anti-competitive mergers and acquisitions interlocked. Locked, do this, do that. I don't know how to pronounce that. Legally Sherman Act of made to restrain made to restraint of a trade felony offense punishable by a fine and imprisonment. Because unlike the Sherman Act, Clayton exempted labor unions, articles of competitive. Yeah, yeah. Basically, like I said, not illegal to own a monopoly, but it's only when you pressure certain companies that you cross the line, right? Like you try censoring games which are technically legal, you're essentially you pressure a company to get rid of not safe for work games, you're basically breaking the law right there. Oh yeah, and speaking of censorship, this happened. Yeah, that I don't think I need to elaborate any further. All this is currently happening right now. Now, the way I see it, Congress is just being super incompetent right now, as well as YouTube, because, yeah. However, there is also another thing. The First Amendment guarantees freedom of expression by prohibiting Congress from restricting the press or the rights of individuals to speak freely. It also guarantees the right of citizens to assemble peace. I cannot talk for my own life. It also guarantees citizens to petition their government. There. That's what's happening right now. Now, the way I see it, like I said, it mainly just boils down to just parents being lazy, right? Like there are certain parents that are being neglectful and yet they want to protect kids. Like that just come off as major hypocritical right there. And like it shouldn't be up to the government to protect kids. It should be up to parents to protect kids. And that starts with not using the government as a crutch. That's what we call government exploitation. Okay, not really. I'm not sure if that's I'm not sure if that's an actual thing, but you get the idea. Actually, now that I think about it, is government exploitation real? Is government exploitation a crime? Okay, so it is a real thing. Oh, here we go. I just noticed that. Yes, exploitation, particularly when it involves vulnerable individuals such as children or those who blah 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 into the labor or sexual acts, is considered crime under various laws. This includes forms like human trafficking, child exploitation. Well, I'm not looking for child exploitation. I'm looking for government exploitation. Yes, government exploitation can occur when officials misuse their power for personal gain. So, in other words, it's not about protecting kids, it's about censorship. But once again, I need to reiterate, you already knew that, didn't you? So, TLDR, the government shouldn't really, you know, pass this bill because when you look at it first glance, it sounds like a good idea, but in practice, you're just censoring your citizens for the sake of control, right? However, it's at this point that the government needs to realize that there are some things that are just out of their control and should be left to the citizens, or at least people who work for the government, like right, like police officers, etc. And it should also be up to parents to decide which content they can and cannot consume. Like that should be obvious enough. And yeah, I think we're about done here because YouTube sucks. Congress is gullible as shit and should stop violating the First Amendment. Oh yeah, and Visa and MasterCard are kind of shit too, and Collective Shout should probably be shut down. I don't know, man. I'm freaking tired. I got up way too early this morning. I don't know. If anyone needs me, I'll be trying to edit my everything wrong with Helltaker video. Because God, I need to get this up as soon as possible, as well as that video as well.